following is a presentation of HBO Sports.
This is North Toronto Arena, the home for these boys, the North Toronto Norsemen, and this is their road to OFSAA. Rituals are a way that players are able to cope with the pressures of hockey. Ryan Miller once said,
"You have to give yourself these little moments of things you can do to feel like you're in control." I think
it is the first game of the season, and they are preparing to face Forest Hill Collegiate Institute. Players attempt to learn anything they can about their opponents.
Does anyone know anyone about Forest Hill? Beezer, do you know anything about Forest Hill? Do you know anything about this team?
He said their whole squad is like a team of kids that open the door.
Every player on the team has a different way of preparing for a game. Some players find special ways to tape their sticks, but almost every player has some sort of routine.
Before games, I'm extremely superstitious. Whatever I did, and if I played well and the team played well, I'll be doing that exact same thing the next day.
Some players prefer a more relaxed way of coping.
I think that being able to relax myself and listen to music definitely helps me deal with pressure.
Getting into the routine that you've been doing, for so many years, that definitely helps you just deal with the pressure. Try not to think about it, but just get yourself focused. Make sure you just know what you have to do, know what your job is, and if you do your job, that's all really that anybody can ask.
You can do about the pressure. You got to be a pressure performer, clutch player. That's how you got to be a city champion.
Almost immediately after the opening face-off, a boarding penalty is called on forward Tom Gazzard. This would set the tone for the game. Even the goaltender would get into the action. Of course, with a team as powerful as North Toronto, scoring would ensue shortly, and it came in a flurry. They would end up dominating Forest Hill 11-1. This is just the tip of the iceberg for an immaculate season performed by these boys.
going to take it all.
Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you.
We've never really been tested to see if we're a comeback team, and I think we are, and there's only one way to find out. So in that sense, it's not a terrible thing.
Things were looking great. However, this game, things were different. For the first time this season, the team had fallen behind. It was 2-0 going into the third.
This is the time when we need to have one guy step up, and we've seen a lot of different guys do it in various games this year. Someone rises to the occasion and puts the team on his back, and we win the game. And that's what we're faced with now. So let's do it as a team. Okay?
Reese Evanson would be this guy.
Great play. Great play. How about it?
The team was now 5-0-2. They were playing down the road rivals, Northern Secondary. The pressure was on.
We're all fired up. We're in the locker room. You got Stanway throwing bottles up in the air. The boys are getting fired up, whacking each other, you know, just standard talk material. And you got Nick Giancola getting the boys in the zone, and then Patty Dollard, you know, we always had this speech. This speech before every game. We'd all come in, say this prayer. You knew the boys were fired up. Came out, the crowd was going wild. Felt like the ACC, even better, you know. The fans jumping up and down, signs, you know, like post game. Gotta love it, man. That's just hockey.
Create an environment where we can really play well together and, you know, add excitement to the game.
Shifts like this one helped define the team. Unfortunately, this happened.
When you come out of the tunnel and you see everyone in the crowd, everyone gets really excited, and they come out, I think, a bit harder and don't exactly like to play like themselves the entire game, and they kind of get away from who they are because they see some people in the crowd and maybe they want to play a little differently and show people in the crowd what they can do. So I would say that.
Well, the problem is the adrenaline, right? And just everybody's so excited, and you know, you try to tone it down a little bit. We played more excitable and maybe a little undisciplined, but we still played well. You can't just shut that off. That's the problem. When there's a few hundred fans there, you know, I wish we would have maybe played a little less physical, but you know, it is what it is.
Tom Gazzard was suspended 1 game for that hit. Fellow teammates attempted to appeal this decision.
Felt angry, felt disappointed, felt let down. Felt like the main office, front office, is they're quitting on me. Felt like I was getting a trade, you know, sent me down to the minors or something, but it didn't feel good. You know, when the boys stuck up for me and Mr. Taylor, they fought the suspension, they tried to appeal it, you know. Brendan Shanahan wasn't having any of it, but I appreciate the effort. Well, I had my family behind me. It was real good.
The Norsemen went on to win that game 4-1.
You get to know people differently than you would in other situations than in a classroom or just hanging out with someone. You get to really bond with them, and you get to meet guys that you probably wouldn't have who probably would have never met in younger grades, and you meet some really good people.
A band of brothers together, you come together as a team out since training camp all the way to the city finals and through OFSAA, road trips, 3 tournaments, you know, you're with the guys in the locker room a couple times a week and you just have a great
Get
time.
along as a group. I really think that's an important thing that you need in life, and I think that's what hockey's taught me this year.
Since the players are at the rink, they can't be at school, the supposed number one priority.
Not a lot of time for work, but you know, like, you get used to it, you know? It's just basic, you know? You get used to it.
School is a priority.
Yeah, I missed about a week of school.
I'd say teachers are really good about really understanding about me playing on the hockey team, and they would, you know, be really willing to work with me and help me catch up in my courses to make sure that I didn't fall behind too much. But
For others, hockey is the priority.
Like, it's all started from day one, you know, hockey, you lace them up, pencils, like, what's that? Like all I know is a hockey stick and skates and gloves, you know.
Others realize the importance of education.
It helped that I made a really noticeable effort to stay up to date on all my assignments and everything, and all I had to do was go to my teachers and ask what I would miss and what I was going to be missing, and let them know when I'd be missing instead of not telling them. And as long as I showed them that I really was making an effort, they'd be really willing to work with me. I think that especially once teachers realized that we were becoming a championship team, they started treating me even better, it seemed, because I guess, you know, it was the first time that NT's had a championship hockey team.
Definitely work harder during the hockey season because I don't have as much time on my hands.
You know, I usually just don't go to them, but like, but when I do go to the classes, you know, it's really hard to be up and going all the time, you know. Missing classes is probably the worst thing that's ever happened to me, you know. Like, you go and you're speechless. Like, teachers like asking you questions, you're like, couldn't tell you, you know, like.
They cover a lot in classes that you miss and like sheets that you miss, and like although you're getting the notes from other people, it's still not the same as being in class.
You know, I missed a couple maybe unimportant games, exhibition games or something, because I had assignments or tests that day, but even though, you know, school remained a priority throughout the whole season, I didn't fall behind at all because of hockey. But I think that I can see why it would be really easy to fall behind because of hockey, and if you didn't make such an effort to stay up to date on everything, it would certainly be pretty easy. If you're reading the textbooks and stuff in class and you're asking your teachers for extra help, coming in when they're available for extra help, and you know, doing your homework at home and studying for tests and staying up to date, it's not actually that bad.
My academic performance in and out of season, I wouldn't say I work harder out of season, I just have more time to work. Hockey definitely affects my school. You know, school affects my hockey. I don't want to be playing puck and then thinking about that project I got to do when I get home. It just kills the mood, you know? You're in the dressing room with the boys and you're thinking, when I get home, I got to write 1,800 words for some annotated bibliography.
It gives me like some time management, because then I have to figure out my day and not be like, oh, I can wait another hour because I have nothing to do tonight.
Hockey is a physical sport. The Norsemen are extremely physical.
Y'all don't really want it like here comes the y'all don't really want it now. E-double-L. I said so, I keep big bills up in my hood on the dirty like blood, so ain't got no twist in my head, but I'm still dreadful, and I got plenty of bread, so I go to bed full line. In it to win it, I'm all in. I might call you my cousin, young blood, but we ain't kin. You think a the type of man that might go broke for revenge. Had some not so nice friends, kick the door off the hinge. Take the door off your bins, pop up my phone with your friends. Man, please, this here ain't cynical. Me no subliminal, I'm physical, financial, and mental to be a general. Hey, lil' mama claims she want a soldier. Not the type be in the tank, but in that Rover. Man, please, I'm in the zone like AIDS full blown. I'm killing it like a blind man reading. I'm feeling it like, oh, yeah, here comes the, oh, here comes the, oh, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like, yeah, here comes the, oh, here comes the, oh, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like, yeah, here comes the, oh, here comes the, oh, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like.
Injuries and frustrations occur due to the physical nature of the game, which sometimes leads to other things. When throwing a hit, you're sacrificing your body and are at extreme risk of injury.
Unfortunately, due to a couple concussions, I've been told by doctors to quit the sport of hockey. Might be getting a little emotional here, but concussions really hurt me this year.
But you don't succeed.
You know, 2 concussions. Went to the doctor, said, you know, it's your choice, but it might be a good idea to stop playing the game. When someone tells you can't do what you love, it hurts. It really had a big impact on my life. Yeah, hasn't been a good time for me.
I had 2 pretty big injuries this year. I had one, like as tryouts were coming up, I cracked one of my ribs. It's pretty painful. I had trouble sleeping and coughing and sneezing for about a month.
If a player is unable to perform basic bodily functions, it is almost impossible to expect them to perform at peak academic level.
The process, with the cracked ribs, there's nothing you can really do. It's just kind of waiting it out until you get better. You can't do a lot of things that I would be doing at full strength.
Certain injuries also affected the team.
You know what? Let's go down the list. The injury to Smith definitely hurt us because he really was playing well. The injury to Maida and Lewis really, really hurt our chances in OFSAA. I'd love to play. I'd love to play those games again with Lewis there to play and with Maida in the lineup. And Chris Tufexis was sick. And Easer, we missed him too on offense. So you never know. You never know how it affects you. But I do know that I'd like to have the chance again with a healthy lineup.
I tried to go in and move my test back because I was in the hospital and stuff, and my teacher didn't really let me because I was already missed the test from 2 days before and from hockey too, and I ended up not doing very well on the test because of my missing school and I didn't have enough time to study, and I bombed the test pretty much.
Games, class, weights, eat, study, and back to practice. This is the life of every student athlete. These athletes are on a very busy schedule and have little time for other things. However, the benefits of playing sports outweigh the costs.
It's a struggle getting there for being on the ice at 7 o'clock, which most people aren't usually on at 7. But right after practice and during the morning, you're right awake.
Yeah, I like my morning practices, like getting up bright and early, getting on the ice, you know, feels great, crisp air, nothing better.
These players know the ultimate benefit.
Well, at the end of the season, it was pretty tough because I never won anything before. I won a few tournaments and stuff growing up, but this was the first time I got somewhere, and it was I knew every game could be my last, and I remember sitting on the bench before during the Mohawk game, and we saw a 2-0 lead slip, and and I was like, this can't be my last hockey game ever. And then I ended up scoring, which was one of the greatest feelings I've ever had during sports. But I know that I was a part of this and this trophy and this great season, so it's a lot of fun.
Battling through grueling injuries, the pressures of succeeding, and the grinds of school, the team would battle through the playoffs. They would become city champions.
The North Toronto boys hockey team was undefeated in the regular season, but when it came down to regionals, they were handing their first loss by Humberside Collegiate. In the city final, they were looking for revenge. First frame, North Toronto captain Nick Giancola streaks in on the wing, rips one on goal, and Max Lepre has some trouble with it but smothers it up. Then Sean Larson centers it in front to Chris Tefexis, but Lepre is there once again to make the save as this one was 0-0 heading into the second, where Bradley Allen slides it over to Verstrady, who drags and snipes it through the legs of Evan Morris to put Humberside up 1-0. Humberside strikes again here as William Gavarkovs controls it behind the net and sends the beauty feed in front to Angus McDonald, who risks it home to make it 2-0. North Toronto turns it up here as Giancola tries for the wraparound. He can't get it past Lepre. Then Lepre makes another save on Larson's backhand before Mark McGregor whacks it home to make it a 2-1 game going into the third. Giancola drives hard to the net again and draws the hooking penalty on Jackson Parker. Larson gets a penalty for taking on McDonald, and Parker gets another minor after the whistle. So North Toronto heads to the power play where Evanson takes it on the half boards, dishes down low to Giancola, gets the return pass and buries it past Lepre to tie it up at 2. North Toronto continues to apply pressure. Giancola fans on the pass, recollects it, weaves through the zone, fans on the shot, but it ends up on the stick of Brian Ham, who roofs it to put North Toronto up 3-2. Then late in the game with only 20 seconds left, the puck slides behind the net to Carson Lockard, who finds Michael Sacharna in front, and he scores to send this baby to overtime. In OT, Evanson steps over the blue line, cuts into the middle, and wires it top shelf as North Toronto comes back after being down 2-0 to win the Senior Boys Tier 1 Championship 4-3 in overtime.
Good job, boys. Leather jackets. Leather jackets, Donna. Leather jackets. Leather jackets. Yeah. Way to go, John. Good stuff, guys. Money don't really feel like I do it from the ground up.
The road to OFSAA was set, but that story is for another time.
Oh, I didn't see you there.
Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number, so call me maybe. It's hard to look right at your baby, but here's my number, so call me maybe. Hey, I just met you.
Simply, why do you coach?
You guys. For me to be in the room with you guys, not being able to play anymore myself. I mean, I play and pick up hockey now and again, but I feel like a kid again. I get just as excited as you guys do before games. I love the pregame camaraderie. I love watching you guys play, win or lose. And this year, the great joy for me, and I told you this at the barbecue, was being able to sit behind the bench and say, you know what, just enjoy this, because, you know, we lost one game in our regular season in our division, You know, and you just sit back there and watch the guys play well and win and score more than we get scored on. So I love to be around the guys. I love the sport, and I love to I love to be as supportive as I can too. And really, that's what I get out of it. I love it.